And hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Calibrate Show. I apologize that it's been quite some time since I've uploaded here. I have been busy. Pray for me. It's been a very busy season, as I'm sure it is with a number of all of you. But we're going to hop back in today, and I'm going to try to start keeping these even shorter. I think taking smaller bite-sized pieces to give to you guys might actually be better. So today, we're hopping back into Revelation 14, and we're going to talk about the Son of Man riding the clouds. That is mentioned in Revelation 14, verse 14. We were going to do all 20 today, or all 14 through 20, including the harvest, but I'm just going to stop and talk about the Son of Man riding the clouds. After the bumper! Hopping in. This is Revelation 14, again, verse 14. We've been going through the entire book, chapter by chapter, trying to go mostly verse by verse. So if this is your first time, I encourage you to go back and watch, please. If you want to go back and watch anything, at least watch the sixth seal. That's probably my favorite video. That I put a lot into that. It's kind of long though, but yeah, this will be shorter. I'm going to go ahead and read. And we're just going to do verse 14. Verse 14. I looked. This is John, the island of Patmos. I, John, looked, and there before me was a white cloud, and seated on that cloud was one like a son of man, with a crown of gold on his head and a sharp sickle in his hand. Now, this phrase, son of man, it's a pretty important phrase. Jesus would use this phrase a lot to describe himself. And when the Pharisees would ask him things and he would say the Son of Man, they would get pretty upset. I had an argument with a guy one time who was telling me that the phrase Son of Man that Jesus used simply meant that he was human. He was pointing to his humanity. And my argument was, well, that doesn't make sense. Why would the Pharisees be mad? They asked him, are you the Messiah? We're going to get into this too. Are you the Messiah, the Son of God? And he says, I am. You will see the Son of Man coming in clouds in power and glory. Why would they be mad about him calling himself just a human being? It doesn't make sense, because he was actually calling himself the Son of God, the Messiah, who would ride the clouds like Yahweh does in the Exodus. This is the Daniel 7 Maranatha, which is going to bring me to my next slide. These are the two phrases you're going to see. So this is even before getting into the context of some of these different things. I have Maranatha. I guess you can also say it's Bar Enosh. I don't know how to say it, but there's that, I guess, other way of saying it. And then there's Ben Adam. This is what's used in Ezekiel. Maranatha is an Aramaic phrase. You find this in Daniel 7. You actually find this multiple times in Daniel, but it starts in Daniel 7. And it's a phrase that Daniel uses. So he gets this vision of the end times and these different nations that rise up. But at the end of this vision, he sees one like a son of man. He says, like Daniel, he's like, before me, I saw one like a son of man riding the clouds. We're actually I'll show you that here in the next few slides. But he sees him and he says he's like a son of man. And ultimately, this son of man riding the clouds, like Yahweh, is given power, authority, and a kingdom that lasts forever. This singular son of man, singular noun, is given power, authority, and a kingdom that lasts forever at the end of the final end times conflict that Daniel sees. And he sees this vision particularly multiple times. He sees it again in Daniel 8. It's and a little different, like the books are opened. And then he sees it in Daniel 12. He sees all of this again. But the Ben Adam used in the book of Ezekiel that's like typical, this is like a human baby child. It's like, this is a human being. Ben Adam, human being. But the Maranatha it's like the only phrase used for Jesus riding the clouds. So this isn't like, yes, he's a human, but he's also divine. And he's riding the clouds. Like Baal, like Zeus, like Thor, but actually like Yahweh, who actually did that in the Exodus. I've mentioned the Exodus a lot. Go back and read the Exodus. How the Israelites could see this pillar of cloud, This cloud by day, fire by night. Here's some other references to this Son of Man in the clouds, or really just God. As Nahum 1:3, his way is in the whirlwind, and the storm in the clouds. And all of this, by the way, referencing. All of these are prophecies concerning the end. Go back and read Nahum, Isaiah, the Psalms. Read them all. And then, especially the Psalms, compare them to the prophets in these stories. The Psalms are prophetic. They're prophecy about the end times. Maybe not all of them, but just about all of them. I think we will see the Psalms play out literally in the end times when Jesus returns. Psalm 68:4, extol him who rides the clouds. 104, verse 2 through 4, he makes the clouds his chariots and rides on the wings of the winds. He makes winds his messengers, flames of fire his servants. Remember, Isaiah tells us we're going to walk through fire. There's Daniel 7, verse 13. He sees the Son of Man coming with the clouds of heaven. And then here in our final slide today, I told you I'm going to make this one short. This is skipping ahead to the Gospels. Jesus has been arrested. This is Matthew 26. He's been arrested. He's being interrogated. And they ask him, they charge him under oath. They say, by the living God, tell us if you are the Messiah, the Son of God. And what does Jesus respond? I just got power back. Sorry. Did I mention it's been a wild year? I just got power back. Well, when I say power, I can do this because I have power. I just got my air conditioning back. The one, like the Son of Man coming on the clouds. And man, what interesting timing. Jesus says to them, he says, you will see the Maranatha. He actually uses the phrase Maranatha when he responds to them. You can go look that up. The Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven. This also sounds like Revelation 1:7. And we did a second or third episode, maybe even the first. We talked about Revelation 1:7. Go look at that one, please. It will. Each of these episodes, they build on each other. But Revelation 1:7, look, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierce him. This connects to Zechariah 12:10 as well. Revelation pieces all of this together as one final book of prophecy. So Zechariah 12:10, riding on the clouds, everyone will see him, even those who pierced him. This thread is throughout the Bible. God being in the clouds and him looking like a human being. Nebuchadnezzar sees one like a son of man in the fire. So he's either in the clouds or in the fire. And look, fire creates smoke. So there's a cloud and there's fire. And the one like a son of man, the Maranatha, which is a title. It's a title signifying, yes, he's a human, but also he's divine. This is God in the flesh. And he's coming back to ride the clouds as he once did before. These are the next 4 verses we're going to get to. I'm not going to touch too much on them. All I want to say is, in fact, let's go back to our main slide for today here. Verse 15 and 16. So John sees this Maranatha on the clouds, which is, again, this thread has been throughout. We talked about this in the 6th seal, which is why I hope you can go back and look at that, because it really pieces this event together. But he sees him. He's got his crown. He's holding a sharp sickle. And this is what we're going to get into the next 2 episodes. Verse 15 and 16, it starts to talk about reaping a harvest. And if you'll notice, if you go back and read Revelation 14, you'll notice there are 2 harvests. This will segue again. I probably repeat myself too much. I'm a little out of practice. But yes, it is segueing into the next episode. 2 harvests. One of them, the wheat, and one of them, the tares. Let me just say this here. Before the next episodes, go back and read the parable of the wheat and the tares. You'll find it in Matthew. The wheat and the tares. And then really read all those parables. It's very important that we understand these parables are more than just spiritual. They're very end times prophetic. They can be both, okay? They can be both. They can be spiritual. They have a spiritual component. They can be applied to your daily life. But ultimately, they are fulfilled in the end times. So go back and look at the parables, but specifically the parable of the wheat and the tares, because this is that. This here that we're about to read in Revelation 15, 16, on into 20 is that event. Remember, he is going to separate the sheep from the goats in the end. He is going to separate the wheat and the tares. Some going into the barn, some going into the fire. There are two feasts of the Lord, ultimately. There's a, well, they're not both called it. There's like a feast of the Lord, and then there's a marriage supper of the Lamb. And you want to be at the marriage supper. There's one where the crows gather, and there's one where the people gather. So, amen and amen. If you guys, I try not to engage too much in the comment sections. I do every now and then, but I'm a very simple person. I'm a simple man. I don't really like to be in social media. This has kept me in social media, but look, if it wasn't for this, I'd be off of it. It just, the end times, the Bible prophecy that's often ignored in the church is just, it feels important, and so I do this. So if I ignore a lot of your guys' comments, I'm sorry, but look, here's one I won't ignore. If you guys have prayer requests, put them in the comment section. I'll make sure to pray about it. As you guys, I'm sure have prayed for me. Prayer works. Prayer is powerful, but really it's because God responds to our prayers and he hears us. So if anyone has any prayer requests, put them in the comment section. This is at about 11 minutes, 15 seconds, and I'm going to try to keep them about this long from now on. So I love you guys. With that being said, come on back, Maranatha. Interesting things in the Middle East, I know. But don't be afraid. Don't fear. God bless.